The conclusion I've come to is that Western democracies, despite being aware of the risk of a pandemic, despite multiple warnings, not just by Bill Gates, but by many, many experts, were woefully unprepared when it came to the reality, by comparison with countries like Taiwan and South Korea in East Asia, which had learnt the lessons of SARS and MERS. So I think the simple answer is not just that we had poor leadership. It's easy to criticize Donald Trump and Boris Johnson, for example, but also that our public health bureaucracies, the experts who really should have seen this coming and prepared better for it, let us down. And I think the fact that Belgium and the UK had very similar experiences gives you a clue that it's not just populist leaders we can blame for what happened, because Belgium did not have a populist leader through this crisis. What we see here is the importance of subsidiarity. European integration should not be European centralization, but all too often that has been the tendency. And I think if one looks back at successive crises that the European Union has grappled, the financial crisis, then the migration crisis, and now this crisis, one's bound to conclude that things have gone poorly because of bad decisions at the central government or by the big or biggest countries in the EU. It's not that I'm celebrating Brexit. I still think that ultimately Britain will be the poorer of having left the European Union 10 years from now. But what I do celebrate is the proof that decentralization of decision-making really is preferable. And that's an important lesson for us all to learn from this crisis. It's a reason we shouldn't idolize the Chinese system. The damage that this has done to China's reputation around the world is really remarkable. I didn't mention it in my talk, but European attitudes to China have grown a great deal more negative in the past 12 months. Now, that's the other side of this story I told about European non-alignment. I do think that the generation of political leaders in Europe who wanted a good relationship with China, such as Angela Merkel, will soon be leaving the stage, and their successors will be a good deal more hawkish and skeptical towards China. And so the analogy with Chernobyl is a bit like this. It took 4 years, didn't it, from Chernobyl to the collapse of the Soviet Union. I could imagine in a time frame maybe closer to 10 years, major problems emerging about the stability of China. And that's a black swan that most people don't give any consideration today. I think it's a reminder that however much you hate Donald Trump, and Europeans by and large hate Donald Trump, he did change the direction of US policy fundamentally on China and on trade. And those are not things the Biden administration is going to change. In fact, I don't think the Biden administration is going to be able to turn the clock back to the Obama years on key issues of substance, in particular security and the China question. I don't think the transatlantic relationship is actually going to get massively better. It'll just be the mood music that improves. And in answer to your final point, what can Europe do about it? My view is that ultimately Europe has no choice. If it is Cold War II, and I believe it is, it cannot possibly side with the one-party state that is herding Uyghurs into concentration camps and placing its citizens under a system of Orwellian surveillance. We can't possibly side with China if China decides to go after Taiwan's autonomy or continue to militarize the South China Sea. And so this idea of a non-aligned Europe, I think, is an illusion.